camera rolling. Yeah, 28th of February 2018, and I'm here in my kiln shed, and I'm about to do some grinding off of some shelves. So I thought, well, why don't we talk about that? Welcome everybody. So I'm going to do some grinding, cleaning off of shelves where you sometimes get runs, etc., like you saw me in my last clip. And I just got a few things on the table here I thought I'd just go through. First of all, just looking at some protective equipment. Yes, some protective glasses, some protective gloves, some protective ear protection. I think is not a bad idea, because these grinders, as you can hear, they make a foul noise. I'm also going to wear a face mask, and I've got another kind of face mask here, which I've had for ages. I've never even used it. Just opened it. Trouble is, it doesn't seem like you can really see through it, unless maybe it's got a. I see. It's got like a protective film here. Haha. Okay. So there's that. Anyway, these are sorts of things that are certainly I would recommend. Definitely eye protection, absolutely a must, and also probably ear protection, because when we're in a confined space down here in the kiln trying to clean, the noise will only be amplified. Also, not a bad idea, wear gloves, because you know what, you slip with one of these, and if it runs off across your hand, you will severely regret it. So wear some gloves. This is actually a diamond. This is a diamond cutting disc on here. It's one out of a pack I got some time ago. It was a pack of 3. I got it from Harbour Freight, I think. So, alright, so those are just some of the tools I'm going to be using. Let me just tog up. Hang on a minute. I just want to quickly show you, and I'll have to stop the camera and take the mask off myself. Maybe I won't wear the mask for the minute, because what I'll do is I'll hold my breath and I won't breathe. Otherwise I won't be able to speak or say anything. But I think I'm going to put on some ear protection, because that thing really gets your ears. And I'll put on these. Haha. So, yes, and some gloves. Yeah, I didn't mention it, but other things that you can use to clean off shelves. One of these is very useful to have. Other bits of carborundum. This is a corner cut off a shelf. But it's very, very hard, and you can use it for a bit of grinding. So, actually what I've got to do is put my glasses on first. And then sometimes a pair of safety glasses that goes over your glasses, yeah? Not a bad idea. Okie dokie. Now let's just let me just bring this camera. Let's have a look to see what we've got to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. You see, it's standing up proud somewhat from the surface. So here goes. Well, that's actually quite effective. Let me see if I can do a bit more here. I get my camera full of dust now. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Let me see if I can get that piece off there. Have to be careful with the diamond cutter. It can cut in quite a lot more than you think. Yes. So, okay. Obviously making a video of me doing this is not very pleasant. It's not a very pleasant sound, so I'm not going to. But I just wanted to show you just briefly what I do. I've just got one over here that I can just show you here, which I already did. The difference being, though, that this one that I've got down the bottom here was actually made from this material, which is very hard, kind of carborundum type material, whereas this shelf here is not so hard at all. In fact, as you can see, where the glaze ran and I chipped it off, it came off, it actually took some of the shelf with it. That's because it's the shelf with a hole in it like this, which is actually actually quite impressed with them. They've been holding up pretty well. They don't seem to warp. They're not that heavy, really. And so I had to grind these. So when you grind them, you get a little bit of a dip, right? So when you get a dip there, what I do is I take my bat wash. Let me put the camera back on the tripod, otherwise you're going to be getting dizzy. Yeah. So this is a mixture of EPK, kaolin, and 50% and 50% alumina. Alright, and that's a good general purpose bat wash, I find works. Some people might say, oh, I want to use a bit less of the EPK and a bit more of the alumina. Well, yeah, just do whatever you think works, you feel works. So basically, mix up some of that, and then very carefully, and you can don't want to use the brush like this to doing this next bit. What I'm going to suggest is, but here, where there are any kind of dips in the surface, because you know, when you grind it, you inevitably grind out a bit. So what you want to do is bring up the level of so that it's flat. To do that, you only want to put the bat wash in the dip. You don't want to put it on where it isn't required. So you can actually use something, believe it or not, like a pencil, and just fill in carefully into the dips. Alright? So you're trying to maintain the integrity of the flatness of the shelf, you see, so it doesn't turn into a ploughed field. We're filling up all these little indentations. I nearly lost the backwash then. All right, well I've already basically done that here. Let me just bring the camera down for a quick bit of detail just to show you if it's going to come out. I'm not sure. So just put it in where it needs to. Bring up the level so that it's flush, you see. And then what we'll do is take some spray, water spray, all right, and just spray the shelf, because the shelf is very dry and it's very absorbent. And wet your brush as well. Wet your brush because your brush will take on a heavy load of backwash. Make sure the backwash is thoroughly mixed up. Okay, dip your brush in, and now go over that whole area like that, you see. But first spray with water. If you don't spray with water, let's just put that up there a second. If you don't spray it with water, what you'll find is that as soon as the liquid backwash hits the dry shelf, it will just clag on the end of the brush. Do you hear what I'm saying? It just clag on the end of the brush. It won't flow off the end of the brush at all. So just dip that like that, and then now come back. Because you've wet it, you see, you'll find that you'll be able to brush it out, you see, without too much, taking on too much of a real heavy, claggy, thick. You won't be able to brush it out as well if it's dry, the shelf. By wetting it, it'll enable you to keep it wet, keep it a bit damp, because it will dry as you go. Okay, so here we go, a bit more like that. Try when you're doing this, don't put the backwash on the side of the shelf. Okay, just watch out for that. You don't want any backwash on the side, because that can drop down onto pots below and into pots, etc. Just keep that a little bit damp. Yeah, do wear a mask when you're doing the grinding, and eye protection, hand protection, ear protection, every kind of protection. Yeah, I was working with a friend out in Spain once, and he was doing some grinding with a hand-held angle grinder like that, and he slipped. It ran across the back of his hand. So I try to, well, you know, I'm doing these videos, I'm supposed to set a good example, aren't I? I like to say to you that I do it every time myself. The honest truth is I don't, I suppose. Just depends what I'm doing. But I don't want anybody to say, Simon, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be demonstrating good practice. And I thoroughly agree, so I should. So, all right, just put that there. I'll put the lid back on that when I've got my other hand free. At the moment, I'm holding the camera. Now, look, if you get any of that backwash on the side of the shelf, just get it off, okay? Because, you know, sometimes there's pots that are below in the kiln, and the backwash will, as it fires, will drop off. Okay. We are carrying on practicing. That's what we're doing. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so there's a shelf that has now been freshly backwashed, that had some. You're never going to get it back to as it was perfect, you know what I mean? As it came to you out of the factory, absolutely dead smooth, but you know, you're just going to have to make the best of it, and I'm just trying to give you some tips. Well, at least that's what I do. If anybody else has got any other suggestions which are, you know, or better than mine, then feel free to share them. I'm not saying I've arrived or I've got, you know, I know how to do it. This is just how I've done it over the years, and we used to do it like this at home. It seems to work. So, okie dokie. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. I hope that has been practical, helpful, useful to you. I mean, as potters, inevitably we're going to have a meltdown sometimes, and if that does happen, you know, this is just a short video just to show you how possibly you can go about remedying the situation. Okay, go to my website, simonleachpottery.com. join us for a workshop. Lots of free spaces in May, June, July, August. Okay. Also, if you're interested in a PDF plan of this kiln, which I'm in the process, or will be in the process, once I've cleaned out all that gunk, all that bottom shelf, once I've cleaned it off, I'm going to be taking photographs, making a PDF for how to convert a gas kiln to a downdraft cone 10 propane kiln. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Keep practicing. Get those shelves cleaned off that you've been putting off forever. Sometimes actually when you're cleaning shelves you don't need to grind. You know, if you're careful with a scraper, you can just very carefully scrape and they'll lift off. It just depends on the nature of the glaze, etc. Obviously some glazes are going to be worse than others, and depending on how well your shelf was batt washed, even though they were batt washed, you know, once the glaze starts running down, it's not going to stop the glaze actually sticking, but some glazes will be worse than others. Yeah, good. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.